Welcome back to our channel, dear friends and fellow General Hospital enthusiasts. We have so much to discuss regarding the latest heart-stopping developments, so let us settle in and explore the drama unfolding before us. When we look at the current landscape of Port Charles, it is impossible not to feel a profound sense of heartbreak for Alexis Davis. As longtime viewers, we have followed her journey through countless trials, both in the courtroom and in her deeply complicated personal life. Right now, Alexis is entirely isolated, standing in the rubble of her fractured family. We have recently witnessed the devastating departure of Christina, who fled town after confessing to the dark secret of Rick Lansing's kidnapping, leaving Molly entirely shattered by the betrayal. Alexis has lost her daughters to distance, anger, and explosive secrets, leaving her in a vulnerable and deeply reflective state of mind. For Alexis, the silence of her empty home is now being filled with the deafening roar of a guilty conscience, one that is tied to a completely different, yet equally horrifying, secret that she has been carrying for months. For decades, we have watched Alexis Davis wrestle with the heavy scales of justice. Her brilliant legal mind has often served as both her greatest weapon and her most tragic flaw. However, the revelation that is currently coming to light forces us to reevaluate everything we thought we knew about her recent legal maneuvers. Alexis is now facing the horrifying reality that she made a catastrophic mistake months ago when she chose to act as the defense attorney for Willow Kane. At the time, she managed to secure Willow's freedom, manipulating the legal system to escape justice. But as the truth of Willow's terrifying actions becomes undeniable, Alexis is being crushed by the weight of her own complicity, realizing her legal brilliance was used to shield a monster. To truly understand the gravity of this situation, we must reflect on the shocking evolution of Willow Kane. Do you remember when Willow first arrived in Port Charles? She was a gentle, soft-spoken schoolteacher who seemed to embody purity, grace, and an unwavering moral center. To see her now, morphing into a cold, calculating architect of pain, is one of the most jarring character transformations in recent General Hospital history. Willow has entirely lost her moral compass, hiding behind an angelic facade while committing acts of unspeakable cruelty. The fact that she has managed to deceive so many people for so long is a testament to her manipulative prowess. But it also highlights the tragic irony that Alexis, a woman trained to see through lies, allowed herself to be blinded by Willow's carefully constructed image. The specific crime that binds Alexis and Willow in this dark web of deceit is nothing short of chilling. We now know, without a shadow of a doubt, that it was Willow who pulled the trigger and shot Drew Kane. When the shooting first occurred, it sent shockwaves through the community, leaving us all desperate for answers. Behind closed doors, Alexis learned the truth and made the fateful decision to cover it up, using her formidable legal skills to ensure Willow walked away without a scratch. Whatever her initial reasoning, the reality is that Alexis actively subverted justice. She stood in a courtroom or in private legal chambers and wove a narrative of innocence for a woman whose hands were covered in blood, an act that has now come back to haunt her. The consequences of that cover-up are currently playing out in the most agonizing manner possible. Drew Kane is not just a victim of a shooting, he is a prisoner in his own body. As we have seen, Willow did not stop at pulling the trigger. She has been systematically drugging Drew, inducing horrific simulated stroke symptoms that have left him incapacitated and unable to communicate the truth. We watch with bated breath as Elizabeth Baldwin and Dante Falconeri tirelessly investigate this bizarre medical anomaly. Even Liesl Obrecht has noticed Drew's desperate attempts to blink an SOS signal. Alexis is watching this unfold, seeing the agonizing torture that Drew is enduring, and she knows that she is partially responsible. If she had not gotten Willow off the hook months ago, Drew would be safe. However, the true catalyst for Alexis's impending explosion of truth is not just her guilt over Drew, it is the terrifying new danger that Willow poses to little Scout. Scout, An innocent child who has already endured so much instability and heartache now finds herself in the crosshairs of a woman who has entirely abandoned her humanity. When Alexis realizes that Willow's crimes are escalating to the point of endangering a child, a profound shift occurs within her. Alexis has always been a fierce protector of the innocent, and the thought of Scout being harmed, the very woman she helped keep out of prison, is the ultimate breaking point. It is the spark that ignites a fiery determination in Alexis. The psychological torment that Alexis is enduring right now is palpable. As a longtime fan, I can feel her anguish radiating through the screen. She is a mother who has just lost her own children to the toxic fallout of family secrets, and she cannot allow another child to be destroyed by a secret she is keeping. Alexis knows that the only way to protect Scout and to stop Willow's reign of terror is to completely dismantle her own life. She cannot simply point the finger at Willow. She must expose the entire conspiracy, which means exposing her own role in the cover-up. It is a moment of profound reckoning, a realization that redemption can only be achieved through absolute, painful honesty. Alexis is preparing to sacrifice her freedom, her reputation, and her entire legal legacy to correct the massive wrong she committed months ago. The impending confession is set to be one of the most explosive moments in recent Port Charles history. I can vividly picture the scene. Alexis, standing tall despite the crushing weight of her sorrow, commanding the attention of the authorities and the community. She will declare, with unwavering clarity, that she made a catastrophic mistake. Alexis will explicitly confess that Willow is the one who shot Drew Kane, and that she, Alexis Davis, knowingly and willingly orchestrated the legal defense that allowed a guilty woman to walk free. The sheer magnitude of this admission will send shockwaves through every corner of the city, shattering relationships and fundamentally altering the power dynamics among the core families. When Alexis publicly unmasks Willow, the fallout will be spectacular. For months, Willow has navigated Port Charles with an air of untouchable grace, even as she engaged in highly questionable behavior, such as her near affair with Harrison Chase. But this revelation elevates her from a flawed woman making poor romantic choices to a dangerous, calculating criminal. The community will have to grapple with the horrifying reality that a woman they trusted, teacher and nurse, is capable of attempted murder and systematic psychological and physical torture. How will Michael, who has been secretly plotting against his wife, react when he realizes she is a far darker monster than he ever imagined? The web of deceit is so thick, and Alexis's confession is the sword that will slice right through it, leaving nothing but the brutal truth. This confession could not come at a more critical juncture for Willow, as her enemies are already circling. Jack Brennan, a man who demands absolute control, has already realized that Willow drugged him and is currently offering her a dark alliance. Tracy Quartermain has issued fierce warnings to Willow to stay away from Chase's marriage. Michael is actively orchestrating her downfall, but it is Alexis, the woman who once saved her, who will deliver the fatal blow. Willow's crimes are finally exploding into the light of day, and the undeniable proof provided by her own former defense attorney will ensure that there is no escape, no legal loophole, and no sympathetic jury that can save her this time. But perhaps the most deeply moving aspect of this storyline is Alexis's acceptance of her own fate. By confessing to subverting justice, covering up a shooting, and enabling a criminal, Alexis knows that she is signing her own arrest warrant. She is fully prepared to accept prison time for her actions. This is not a reluctant surrender. It is a conscious, deeply moral choice. She is choosing to walk into a jail cell so that a dangerous woman can be stopped and an innocent child can be saved. It is a tragic but incredibly poetic end to this chapter of her life. For a woman who has spent her career arguing the nuances of the law, she is finally embracing the absolute clarity of true justice, regardless of the personal cost. As viewers who have invested years into these characters, watching Alexis make this sacrifice is both heartbreaking and awe-inspiring. We have seen her battle addiction, navigate toxic romances, and fight fiercely for her family. But this moment, this willing sacrifice to protect Scout and stop Willow, feels like the culmination of her entire journey. Her prison to ensure Willow's downfall is a masterclass in character redemption. It elevates the storyline from a simple crime thriller into a profound exploration of guilt, responsibility, and the lengths a person will go to balance the scales they themselves tipped. It is a stark reminder that in Port Charles, the truth always demands a heavy toll, and Alexis is finally ready to pay it in full. In conclusion, the unfolding drama surrounding Alexis Davis, Willow Kane, and the tragic fate of Drew is a testament to the enduring brilliance of General Hospital. As we prepare for Alexis to drop this monumental truth bomb, we must brace ourselves for the emotional shockwaves that will undoubtedly follow. Willow's dark secrets will be dragged into the unforgiving light. Scout will be safeguarded from a looming nightmare, and Alexis will find a strange, tragic peace behind bars, knowing she finally did the right thing. It is a storyline rich with tragedy, justice, and ultimate redemption, and I, for one, cannot wait to see how every gripping moment plays out on our screens.